Pollen is everywhere, and Augusta is ranked the worst city in Georgia to live with allergies and the 12th worst overall in the entire country. That's according to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America.
Makes sense because my allergies happened when I moved to Georgia. With Helene taking out thousands of trees last year, could it have an impact on our pollen count? Your Riley Hale went to find out.
It's officially spring in the CSRA, which means everything is covered in pine pollen. With Helene passing through last fall, that knocked out roughly 10% of our trees here in Richmond County. I asked Campbell Vaughn from the UGA Extension Office, does this mean less pollen this year? He said, not necessarily.
When plants and animals stress, is their innate sense is to reproduce.
Vaughn thinks our damaged trees that made it past Helene could be producing more pollen this year.
They say, you know what, I need to produce a whole lot more because that's ultimately my goal is to keep my DNA moving. So I think it could go either way, really. I tend to think we probably will have equal amount, maybe just a little bit more this year.
It will be tough to get verifiable proof of changes in our pollen count. Obtaining those pollen counts is not as easy as it may seem.
Said it's not something you can put on a weather station. It's actually a scientist has to collect the pollen, certain types of daytime and the evening, and then you have to sort through all of that. So,
larger cities like Atlanta usually have a true daily pollen count, but that data doesn't translate well to Augusta.
We can't really go off of what's happening in Atlanta because they really do have a different climate than we do. Not very different, but it is a different climate.
Vaughn does say we should be done with the visible pine pollen that is covering our cars fairly soon.
I can't imagine it lasting more than a week, maybe 10 days, which I sure hope that happens because I got a lot of porches to wash before the big tournament comes into town.
And that was the thing. Campbell Vaughn also mentioned that by tournament week, we should be done with the pine pollen. He does think that our azaleas are going to start really blooming within the next 10 to 14 days. So a really special time of year here around Augusta where it starts to get really bright, beautiful, but also leads to those pollen issues.
I think I'm going to open up a car wash here very soon because I'm sure they're making a lot of money the last 2 weeks with all the pollen that's been on everyone's cars driving around Augusta.
Yeah, and Campbell did say that don't drive yourself crazy trying to clean things off day after day. Wait another week, 10 days, and then it should be over with. You can do that final cleanse, and then we should be okay heading later into the springtime.
That's really good tips, especially as we head into the weekend and the weather's nice. That was me. I washed my car one day, woke up, and then said, why did I do that? So there's your answer. Thanks, Riley, for that. We're back after a quick break.